तू चलता चल तू चलता चल तू चलता चल.
So, hello everyone. Yugal Survey this side from NFE 17. And today, as our guest, we are having Shikhar Nehru, son of our mentor, Col Nehru sir. And to give a brief introduction, I will just giving some details and some background. Okay, so Shikhar Nehru from 8th to 10th grade trained in Chandigarh Lawn Tennis Association (CLTA) as a future prospective tennis pro, one among the 10 potential players from the entire defense forces. He left CLTA in 10th realizing that future would be of tennis coach and academics will suffer. 12th Commerce in 2009, tried tennis 7 to 8 months in training Joswal Academy, Ludhiana. Asthmatic issues came back and he got in the main line of academics, cleared CPT and pursued CA line, BCom distant education from DU, articleship with Grant Thornton for 3 years, started working in 2011 at 19 years for 3 years. He participated in Mission Army Desh Ke Rakshak in 2011. Delhi got selected, stood second in 1 mile run among approximately 4,000 participants from Delhi. He was medically unfit for the shape of toes and sweaty palms. 2014 onwards, he started working with SG Sport Manufacturing and Marketing, completed his chartered accountancy in 2015. He started NF Sport Tech in 2019. Pandemic affected business. He had to move to Canada, Vancouver, did odd jobs of sales, teaching, and tennis. In 2020, got stuck in COVID in India, and he moved back to Canada in May 2021. He started working in an asset management company, stopped teaching tennis, wrote CA equivalent exam of Canada in 2022, result is awaited, and he kept playing competitive tennis. Remains involved with No Frills Sport Tech as well as NFA. So this was a brief introduction, though I'm not very good at introductions, but I hope I didn't miss out anything. Is that right, Shikhar sir?
That's more than information that our viewers would have liked, but thank you for that.
Yeah. Quite a lot of achievements right there, to be honest. Quite a lot of achievements.
Well, I mean, it's, anything can be made to look nice, if you want to. So, but I'm a very ordinary human being. So yeah.
Okay. So we'll be having an interactive session. I'll be asking you about 8 to 10 questions, and you can go by however way which you want to answer the questions. But before we start off with the questions, if you want to have some introductory words, you want to interact with the students, please go ahead.
I'm glad that I can, even if one person can go out of the session taking something positive away, so that will be my good achievement, I think. Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it, Yugal. If you have questions, let's start off. And people, I think they're still joining, so they can continue joining and should dive right into it.
To all the participants, if you have any follow-up questions, anything to ask further, you can just switch on your mic and you can ask. But once sir finishes with his answer, only then. So the first question to Shikhar Nehru sir is this: how to maintain a balanced life, doing so many things at a time, and being good in both sports and academics?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I would agree that over these years, jab se mujhe yaad hai, ever since because I was a kid when I started playing tennis, but padhai mein fir bhi kar raha tha, obviously you have to study, but I enjoyed doing both those things together. Obviously, Col Nehru, my father has been, the guide all through, and my mother has made sure that I was, not going down in my grades in school. So, तब से ही balanced life एक शायद शुरू से ही lead करी थी, and then it started to become like a habit, and I think that practical guide में भी ये बताया हुआ है कि your habits really make a difference and where you go in the midterm to long term horizon. तो अगर मतलब एक daily routine आपका अच्छा strong है कि आप if you're studying तो आप पढ़ाई के लिए अच्छा time spend कर रहे हो, आप अपने exercises भी कर रहे हो, you're doing some reading, you're also hanging out with your friends, or so if it's a good mix, then it doesn't feel as if it's an effort on a day-to-day basis. आदत पड़ जाती है and you start enjoying it. In fact, it's reached a stage now, at least मेरे साथ, कि अगर मैं exercise ना करूं तो मुझे लगता है कि कुछ incomplete है. या जैसे आजकल, like last 2-3 months I was preparing for my exam and साथ में काम भी कर रहा था, तो I was not able to like read any book और ज़्यादा पढ़ नहीं पा रहा था, तो भी थोड़ा लग रहा था कि यार, you're sort of missing out on something. So yeah, it's like initially it's habit creation and फिर it becomes like a part of you, and if you don't do it, then you feel that something's missing. So yeah, that's how I try and like keep myself busy, and the day is fairly.
But I have a follow-up question on this. I will give an
Yeah.
example. When I was doing playing basketball interzonals in my school time in 11th and 12th. So what happened was, it's not like I was distracted. It's not like I was not focused on studies. But what happened was, when you are so much into a sport, when you feel passionate about it, what happens is when you are going to study, you have these thoughts coming up. You know, I'm having a match. I'm having this practice. I'm not doing well in the sport area. And you may be having some failures, some successes in that particular sport. So this creates a distraction in your mind. It's not like you won't study, but you have a certain amount of distraction. This happened with me. So I wanted to ask you if you face the same issues, and if yes, then how did you manage it?
Well, that's a genuine thing. I mean, even recently I played a tournament and, you know, I lost in the pre-quarters, and before I go to bed, I'm thinking कि यार कि वो forehand थोड़ा, मतलब, you know, थोड़ा सा अगर net के ऊपर मारता तो शायद match में कुछ अलग हो जाता. So I mean, these thoughts keep coming. You just have to like थोड़ी देर तक you have to entertain them. उसके बाद you get tired and you sleep, you know. So you can't keep going on with those thoughts.
Okay. Second question to you is that what advice do you wish to give to those who are not into any sport or had not played any sport in life? If not sports, what are the other things that an individual can do to maintain fitness?
Okay, so if you haven't played a sport, I think the easiest thing is कि जिस environment में आप हो, जो भी closest आपके proximity में चीजें हैं, like maybe there's a football field around you, basketball court, badminton काफी easily accessible है आजकल. So try and pick that sport. Or if you're like in a group जिसमें वो लोग बाकी लोग जो specific sport खेलते हैं, I would say try and avoid team specific sports, because then मतलब आपको खेलना है तो आपको पहले टीम इकट्ठी करनी है. Or if you're playing for example cricket और leather ball से खेल रहे हो तो पहले आपको equipment खरीदना है. तो मतलब तामझाम बहुत ज्यादा है. So try and avoid these kind of sports. Like you get the most out of your time, उस type का sport pick up करो कि आपको effort नहीं करना, कहीं membership नहीं लेनी. So start with that, and then it's easier to stay in a sport अगर आप थोड़ा interest create करके skill acquire करो, or then you start to get competitive, even if it's at at your local level also. But जब आप थोड़ा competitive होते हो, जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि if you have some targets, then you're working towards it. अगर aimless है तो फिर motivation भी नहीं आती है. And the other question that you asked was that if you don't play a sport, then how do you remain fit? Personally, to me, अगर मेरे पास time कम होता है, best thing that I feel is go out and run. Like अगर मेरे पास 30 मिनट भी है ना, 30 मिनट भी मेरे लिए काफी होते हैं. Just go on a running track. If you don't have a running track, just find a road, run for 10 minutes, and उसके बाद you do sprints. मतलब literally I do this even now कि मेरे घर के बिल्कुल पास में एक रनिंग ट्रैक है, तो मैंने 4 राउंड लगाए वार्म अप के, और उसके बाद मैंने 3 किए लेट्स से 800 मीटर, 2 किए 400 मीटर, और 4-5 100 मीटर, एंड आई एम डन. लाइक 30 मिनट के अंदर पूरा आप थक जाते हो, और इट्स अ गुड एक्सरसाइज आल्सो. मतलब यू डोंट नीड टू स्पेंड लाइक 1-1.5 घंटा trying to find a gym, all those things. So I think running is one good thing, and it can get very addictive, like just the feeling, the runner's rush जिसे बोलते हैं. So I enjoy it. बाकी सबके लिए अपना अपना होता है, but I think running is one easy and good way to remain fit.
Moving on to the third question, it says that for those who wish to start their own business and have their own ideas, what do you wish to advise regarding starting up? What care should be taken?
Okay, so I started my first business, like it was a startup. This was, I think, जब मैं 18-19 years का था. तो मतलब the things that you, जो ideas आते हैं वो आपके passion के around आते हैं, कि जो चीजें आपको पसंद हो उससे related आपको लगता है कि यार अच्छा ये चीज कर सकते हैं. और you know, when you're young you get these ideas, you're excited about them, you discuss with your friends and they also say अच्छा यार maybe you know there is some merit in it. That's how we also started up. We wanted to make like a social media uh, for sportsmen, specifically tennis people. And then we thought कि थोड़ा और you know we'll extend it, and cyclists and runners, those kind of things. So yeah, so I think the, like what I take from that is कि अगर कोई idea है, you have to run with it. मतलब अगर आप बहुत ज्यादा सोचोगे कैसे करना है, क्या करना है, so वो अमेरिकन सिस्टम के लिए यूज करते हैं ना, एनालिसिस पैरालिसिस, कि आप सोचते रह गए, किया नहीं कुछ. So starting point is कि if you find something exciting, just run with it. हाँ, caveat is that take risks, because अगर रिस्क नहीं लोगे तो बिजनेस नहीं होगा, फिर आप नौकरी कर लो. Take risks but calculated risks. कि अगर आपके पास you know if you can afford to set aside 50,000 rupees, so don't set aside 75 or 1 lakh. Only set aside what you can afford, and उसमें भी जो रिस्क होंगे वो धीरे धीरे लो. Start small. Don't go like Mark Zuckerberg, overnight नहीं बन पाओगे. So I mean, I'm saying this, I'm not any successful businessman, but yeah, I did try. I'm still trying. मैंने एक company start करी थी, we did not get funding, but we learned something from it. My co-founder ended up just like 5-6 months ago, he raised $10 million. So he's doing very well. But I learned quite a bit from that. And the current business that we are in, we are still trying, you know, we had struggles, but कोशिश कर रहे हैं. And I think the key is that आपको लगे रहना पड़ेगा. मतलब, you know, you have to wait for the right opportunity and something will come your way. Yeah, that's probably what I want to say on that. Kuch, if you have follow up, then for sure.
Nothing from my side. If participants have any follow-up question, they can please go ahead.
Yeah, if anyone's interested in business, entrepreneurship, that's like a आजकल buzzword है. I think अब वो भी पुराना हो गया. उसको भी वो भी काफी पुराना हो गया. बैंगलोर में काफी कंपनीज हैं जिनको फंडिंग मिल गई, काफी कंपनियां बंद हो गई. But I think it's like, especially in this generation, because so much is changing, technology आ रही है, और so many problems to solve within India. So yeah, Uttam wants to, I think, ask a question. Uttam, please go ahead.
Sir, good morning, sir. My question
Hi,
is,
Uttam. Good morning.
yes, sir. My question is this: as a child, as a young child, you always have a dream to pursue. So, what was your dream since your childhood? Like you played in tennis and you also played have a good
मैं बताता हूँ,
academics.
as a child, I had a dream to sell mangoes, so I can eat as many mangoes as I can. फिर जैसे मैं थोड़ा बड़ा हुआ, फिर मैंने बोला कि मुझे I like cars, मुझे you know फौज में जो empty होती है जहाँ पे सारी गाड़ियाँ होती हैं, मुझे वो बहुत पसंद था. तो मैंने सोचा मैं मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर बनूंगा ताकि मैं you know कर पाऊँ. फिर धीरे धीरे समझ में आया कि यार मुझे ना फिजिक्स समझ आती है ना केमिस्ट्री समझ आती है, तो इसे छोड़ना पड़ेगा. फिर मैंने बोला यार टेनिस खेलते हैं. you know, my father also promoted कि encourage me that I should continue playing tennis. तो फिर मैंने सोचा कि मेरी ड्रीम थी मैं विंबलडन खेलूं. फिर जब 17 साल का हुआ तो क्वालिफाई भी नहीं हो पा रहा था अगर किसी टूर्नामेंट में, तो मैंने बोला यार इसे भी छोड़ो, अब थोड़े पैसे कमाते हैं. So then my dream was that I you know start a business, do something big, create, you know, make a difference in the society. And I think I'm still at that. So it keeps changing as you progress.
Okay, sir. One more question I have, sir.
Yeah.
As you said that you can start with not in a team specific, but an individual game, sir. But
Yeah.
In India, there is a culture, sir. Since like in a lower middle class or tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, बच्चा पैदा होता है उसके घर में ही बैट बॉल या ऑलरेडी को कपड़े धुलने वाली वो होती है. तो सर क्रिकेट तो ऐसे ही शुरू हो जाता है लोगों का. सो और इवन स्कूल लेवल में भी वो चीज नहीं होती है कि हाँ हमको अदर देन स्पोर्ट्स कुछ प्रमोट किया जाए, क्योंकि 4 लड़के होते हैं वो कहीं पे भी स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. तो सर अब जैसे मैंने जब फर्स्ट ज्वाइन करी उसके बाद मेरे को स्पोर्ट्स पता चले कि हाँ टेबल टेनिस है, बास्केटबॉल है, पता पहले से थे, लेकिन कुछ पार्टिसिपेशन के लिए एक्टिविटी ग्राउंड कुछ नहीं था. बट व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग टेबल टेनिस हियर, आई गॉट अ इंटरेस्ट एंड आई प्लेड वेरी वेल इन माय यूनिट लेवल. सो how someone got to interact, how someone meet that environment to develop other than that individually specific sports?
I mean, back in the day, it was still difficult, but now with internet, so much your TV series and your Netflix, Amazon, इसमें तो there is so much मतलब information abundance है. So um, I'm not sure, maybe I'm incorrect, लेकिन आजकल जो younger lot है, उनको तो सारे sport पता है, and India also, I think like it's not very hard to find a basketball court or what do you say, badminton भी काफी commonly available है. So but you're right, अगर जिस environment में आप वो raised हो, उससे definitely impact पड़ेगा. So again, जो within your limitations you have to pursue that. मैं इसलिए बोल रहा था कि team sport या cricket जैसा sport क्यों, if someone has not played sport, should not pick up at this age at least, is क्योंकि उसमें resources बहुत चाहिए, and your utilization for time vis-a-vis how much you will gain out of it is not tremendous. या आपको क्रिकेट में जो बॉलिंग डाल रहा है वो तो ठीक है, उसके बाद फिर वो फील्डिंग करेगा, या फिर जो बैटिंग कर रहा है वो सिर्फ बैटिंग, मतलब इट्स नॉट दैट इंटेंसिव in terms of like physical activity. So मतलब my basic suggestion was based on that premise. बाकी any sport,
your passion matters, I think, sir. What interest you have.
Yeah, and your passion would be defined by your environment. Like मैंने क्यों टेनिस स्टार्ट करी, क्योंकि of course मेरे पापा ने ये नहीं बोला था कि पैदा होते टेनिस खेलना शुरू कर दे, बट घर में टेनिस रैकेट था और कहीं टेनिस कोर्ट मिल गया तो थोड़ा इंटरेस्ट डेवलप हुआ, फिर खेल के देखा, किसी ने बोला कि यार अच्छा खेल रहा है, फिर मैं भी हो गया. ऐसे ही होता है ना. How is anything promoted or encouraged? Yeah, when you try something, if you do good at it, किसी ने encourage कर दिया तो आपको लगता है हाँ यार मैं तो अच्छा कर रहा हूँ, तो आप फिर उसके पीछे लग जाते हो. और कोई बोल दे कि जैसे बचपन में मैं गाना गाता था और किसी ने बोल दिया यार नहीं तेरे से नहीं हो पाएगा, मतलब बहुत बुरा गाता है, तो फिर मैं ट्राई नहीं करता. मतलब अगर बेइज्जती होगी तो फिर you will try to stay away from it. So yeah, that's how it is.
So one more question, sir. What is your future aspiration from this point after 5 to 10 years? Where you will see yourself?
After 5-10 years, okay. So I still want to play tennis competitively, and I think the kind of situation I am in, I can afford to travel, continue to play, and I still feel that I have it in me to make a difference in the society. Matlab, fortunately, there has been, I've got a good background. I was, raised well. So money is not the primary driving factor. Of course, money is important, but I think that I have it in me that I can make a difference. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to run after for the next 5-10 years. Sorry, Uttam, आप दोबारा से एक बार repeat करिए अपना question.
Sir, you want to make a difference, you said. Sir, how you want to make, as a sports person or as an entrepreneur?
No, as an entrepreneur. Or I think that I have some skill sets that if I share with people, they probably will get inspired, and maybe I can help improve a large group's well-being. So yeah, I just generally feel happy that if like within my company, the people that work for the company, agar hum if they are able to if we are able to help them provide for their family, or किसी का household हमारे efforts से चल पा रहा है, that's a very fulfilling feeling, and I enjoy that. I like helping, and it's very infectious. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Uttam.
Fine. Moving on, the next question. How important is starting to work in life at an earlier age? Do working professionals have an edge over others who are only studying?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important that you start working early. क्योंकि I'm sure people who are listening also would have experienced this. जब आप after you graduate or even after you finish your post graduation, you are not ready for the market because जो आप पढ़ रहे हो और जो real life में हो रहा है, they're like बहुत ज़्यादा difference है. And now I think it is picking up with ये Udemy वगैरह में courses होते हैं. You have online courses जो थोड़ा bridge कर पा रहे हैं. But vocational training को आप पढ़ाई से compensate नहीं कर सकते. So vocational training is very important. I was glad that मैं CA मैंने join किया क्योंकि मतलब आप जब बाहर उतरते हो, लोगों से मिलते हो, interact करते हो, लोग आपसे सवाल करते हैं, you know, you're answerable to them, तब आप दुनियादारी भी सीखते हो. So वो आप एक क्लोज्ड एनवायरनमेंट में, सिक्योर्ड एनवायरनमेंट में जहां आप सिर्फ एग्जाम दे रहे हो या पढ़ रहे हो, वो नहीं हो पाता. हाँ, इफ यू कैन कॉम्प्लीमेंट बोथ दोस थिंग्स, इट्स अ वेरी वेरी गुड कॉम्बिनेशन. बट वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग को आप नहीं कंपेयर कर सकते. एंड द सूनर यू स्टार्ट, द अर्लियर यू स्टार्ट. इनफैक्ट इस जहाँ पे मैं इस टाइम हूँ कनाडा में, यहाँ पे तो बच्चे काफी जल्दी स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. लाइक सबवे में काम कर रहे हैं और यू नो न्यूज़पेपर सेलिंग तो अब खत्म हो गई है, बट पहले न्यूज़पेपर्स बेचते थे. तो आई थिंक देयर इज अ मेथड टू दैट मैडनेस, राइट? क्योंकि मतलब जितना जल्दी आप ये पैसा लोगों से डील करना स्टार्ट करो, उतना बेटर होता है इन द लॉन्ग रन. सो या, जो भी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले काम करने की, आई थिंक अब थोड़ा चेंज हो रहा है. इंडिया में भी कोई वो नहीं होता कि अगर आप डिलीवरी बॉय हो या आप यू नो इफ यू आर ड्राइविंग अ कार फॉर अ लिविंग, तो मतलब गैप अब कम हो रहा है. इट्स नॉट सीन एज अ you're not really मतलब आपको you're not looked down upon if you're doing this job, then you should not be also because you're learning so much.
Yeah, I think the idea is it's not exactly about making money at an early age. It's about learning those social skills and being comfortable in the environment of a business, of an entrepreneurship, or whatever you want to do in the future. And vocational training, I think
और
by
being
vocational training,
answerable, you know, मतलब
yeah, being
आपके
answerable.
पेरेंट्स तो आपको एक सिक्योर्ड एनवायरनमेंट में रखते हैं, आपके टीचर्स भी आपको एक सिक्योर्ड एनवायरनमेंट में रखते हैं. पर बाहर दुनिया में एवरीबॉडी नोज कट थ्रोट कंपटीशन है. मतलब आपकी पैंट खींचने के लिए कोई ना कोई तैयार है. सो यू नो यू हैव टू बी, जितना जल्दी आप रियलिटी फेस करो उतना अच्छा है.
Totally agree. And moving to the next question, it says that how should one prepare for hyper competitive exams like CA? I mean, CA and exams like civil services have lakhs and lakhs of aspirants every year, and CA is quite difficult. As far as I know from my friends, it's quite difficult to clear it in first attempt of, I think, 5 years. So how did you prepare for this particular exam? Not just CA, I mean, any hyper competitive exams in general.
See, honestly, I would not know so much about civil services या competitive exams. हाँ, मैंने CA का exam दिया है and I can say pass भी किया है. Some things that I can share from my experience is कि because the competition level is high, so you need to have a basic strong fundamental. And then उसके ऊपर आपको build करना पड़ता है कि what is the pattern of the exam, कौन सी चीजों में आप स्ट्रांग हो उस पे फोकस करो, जिसमें आप स्ट्रांग नहीं हो उसको साइड कर दो. सो यू डोंट यू नो वेस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम एंड यू हैव टू बी लाइक मोर स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड थोड़ा टारगेटेड करना पड़ता है कि यू नो दिस इज समथिंग दैट यू कैन स्कोर गुड मार्क्स ऑन, या बेस्ड ऑन पास्ट ईयर पेपर्स ये चीजें आती हैं. सो फर्स्ट फाउंडेशन इज यू नीड टू हैव स्ट्रांग फंडामेंटल्स. जैसे आपका जो सिविल सर्विसेज वाला भी है, जनरल नॉलेज, इंग्लिश, इन सब की आपको एक सर्टेन लेवल की तो आपको नॉलेज होनी ही पड़ेगी. उसके बाद आप फिर ये देखोगे कि अच्छा कैसी स्ट्रैटेजी बनानी है, पास्ट ईयर में क्या ट्रेंड है. So I think that combination, and then the third thing very important, which I don't know how much you would give weightage on. I am good at that. मतलब मैं अब जानता हूँ अब अपने आप को कि प्रेशर सिचुएशन में मैं काम रहता हूँ और that goes a long way. क्योंकि कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम में ये होता ही है कि यू नो हवा भी होता है और आप इतना ज्यादा पढ़ रहे हो, पास परसेंटेज इतनी कम है, सो पीपल टेक प्रेशर, टेंस्ड हो जाते हैं. आई थिंक उसमें मैंने उस डिपार्टमेंट में मैंने अच्छा किया है, एंड वो भी दैट केम फ्रॉम स्पोर्ट। क्योंकि आप जब खेलते हो, कंपेटिटिव स्पोर्ट खेलते हो, तो डे इन डे आउट यू आर बीइंग क्वेश्चन, आप मेंटली यू आर गेटिंग प्रिपेयर्ड कि one day you're not winning, the other day you are winning very closely, another day you're like winning very easily. So you just generally become thoda sa, as a person you become more humble, and you learn to deal with like tough and easy situations better. So I think it's a combination of these three things. जो आप लोग, I'm sure listeners में civil services वाले काफी होंगे जो CDS भी is reasonably competitive, जो CDS भी crack करते हैं, उन लोग को और better पता होगा, but मेरे हिसाब से this is like to me is a good combination. Yeah.
So it's very interesting that you said that the experience from your tennis to handling pressurized situation translated in your competitive exams like CA. So that's very interesting. I mean, your sport enhanced your performance in your academics as well. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Fine.
And I like
Yeah.
to brag about this also, and goes to show about कैसे आपको बैलेंस करना पड़ता है लाइफ करना चाहिए लाइफ में। मतलब मेरे पापा ऑब्वियसली आप सब जानते हैं, ही इज अ कीन टेनिस प्लेयर, और घर में काफी स्पोर्ट टाइप एनवायरनमेंट रहता है। तो सीए के एग्जाम में एक दिन की छुट्टी होती है, सो हम लोग रोज टेनिस खेलते थे। मतलब मैं एग्जाम दे के आया हूँ और हम लोग शाम को टेनिस खेलने गए हैं, एंड देन आई स्टार्ट स्टडिंग। तो इट मतलब इट्स नॉट अबाउट लाइक ब्रैगिंग, बट इट एक्चुअली हेल्प्स कि आपको थोड़ा it's like a way of exercising, relaxing your body, relaxing your mind, and of course you're staying fit. If you're fitter, you can perform better in anything.
So next is, did you ever thought of joining defense forces? If not, then why?
That's a good question. Actually, बहुत ज्यादा मोटिवेशन मेरा नहीं था आर्मी ज्वाइन करने का। हाँ, जब आप कोई पिक्चर देखते हो, लक्ष्य देखी थी तो लगा था कि हाँ यार अब फौज ज्वाइन करनी है, बट वो इट वाज वेरी शॉर्ट लिव्ड। एंड कोइंसिडेंटली जब मेरा टाइम था व्हेन आई वाज एट दैट एज, तो माय डैड वाज आल्सो ही वाज ऑप्टिंग टू रिटायर फ्रॉम द फोर्सेस, तो ही आल्सो डिड नॉट रियली परस्यू दैट मच। बट एट वन पॉइंट जब मैं टेनिस सीरियसली खेल रहा था, तो मैंने सोचा था कि मे बी आई कैन प्ले फॉर द फोर्सेस, एंड तब मैंने ट्राई भी किया था, बट आई थिंक इट डिड नॉट वर्क आउट, एंड मेरे टेनिस रिजल्ट्स इतने अच्छे नहीं थे, सो आई वाज लाइक इन दैट फेज कि मैं पढ़ाई की तरफ लीन कर रहा था। सो या आई डिड नॉट वेरी सीरियसली एवर कंसिडर जॉइनिंग द फोर्सेस। सॉरी, वाज देयर अनदर पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन? कुछ और भी आपने एक और?
No, just that.
Okay. Yeah.
If you guys having any follow-up questions, you can please proceed with the questions. Okay then, let's move on.
Okay.
Next is, how is the work culture different in Canada from India?
Okay, so Canada में अब मेरे को almost साल भर से ऊपर हो गया है, so I think I'm fairly fairly versed with what's happening here. One major difference I feel is the work-life balance. कि यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है कि आपका काम ही आपकी जिंदगी है, काम के अलावा भी आपकी अपनी जिंदगी है। तो मतलब जस्ट टू गिव यू पर्सपेक्टिव, अगर मेरे को यहाँ पे एक सेकंड करियर भी करना है तो उसका मौका मिलता है। इंडिया में तो आई थिंक कंपटीशन इज सो स्टिफ, एंड जो कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर भी वो ऐसा है कि आप 10-12 घंटे तो आप नॉर्मल काम करते हो, मतलब वो आपसे एक्सपेक्टेड है। उसके बाद अगर आप कुछ करो तो इट्स लाइक अच्छा ठीक है, यू आर कीन एंड यू आर मोटिवेटेड, बट यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है। एंड ऑन द फ्लिप साइड, बिकॉज आई कम फ्रॉम दैट कल्चर, मैं मतलब हमने भी 10-12 घंटे काम किया कंसल्टिंग में। इट्स वेरी वेरी कट थ्रोट एंड इट्स वेरी सीजनल, बट वो चलता ही रहता है। तो व्हेन आई शो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, इनिशिएटिव, तो उसकी काफी कदर भी की जाती है। क्योंकि जो लोग इसी सिस्टम में बड़े हुए हैं उनके लिए बहुत नेचुरल है। दे थिंक कि यार मेरी 5 बजे नौकरी खत्म हुई है, बस उसके बाद अगर ईमेल भी आई है तो मैं देखूंगा नहीं, क्योंकि वो मेरा राइट है। मैं बोलता हूँ कि यार हमें तो आदत है, बट अगर ये लोग अप्रिशिएट कर रहे हैं, तो अगर एक ईमेल का जवाब दे दिया, which is not bothering me, so they really appreciate it. So it's more humane, I think, and that's the major difference.
Yeah, apart from work-life balance, what other changes or differences do you see in the work culture?
I think again, it's coming from a similar aspect कि क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा कट थ्रोट कंपटीशन नहीं है और लोग ज्यादा कंसिडरेट हैं कि अगर आप बीमार हो, मान लो कि कल मैं मतलब आज रात को मैं आई एम नॉट फीलिंग वेल, सुबह मैंने सिक कॉलम किया है कि आई एम नॉट फीलिंग वेल, तो एंड आई विल टेल यू दिस, एज एन एम्प्लॉयर बैक इन इंडिया मैं भी सोचता था कि यार ये तो छुट्टी मार रहा है, मतलब कहीं घूमने गया हुआ है और वो कर रहा है, बट यहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं हो सकता है सोचते होंगे, बट आई थिंक दे गिव यू द बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट कि हो सकता है एक्चुअली जेन्युइनली सिक को, देयर इज मोर लाइक जनरली मोर रिस्पेक्ट फॉर वन अनदर, दैट्स समथिंग दैट मतलब कोई कल्चर का वो नहीं है, इट्स जस्ट इट्स अ कैरेक्टर, एंड एनीवन मतलब जो सुन भी रहे हैं, having empathy and consideration towards the other person, it doesn't take too much. It's just a way of dealing with people, and people will respect you also. अगर आप रिस्पेक्ट दोगे तो आपको रिस्पेक्ट मिलेगी भी, रिस्पेक्ट दोगे नहीं तो वो वापस भी नहीं आती, तो डंडे के जोर पे काम कराने वाला वो कल्चर इंडिया में भी नहीं है, गोली देने वाले बहुत हैं. So if you respect the other person, give them the space, I think they will perform better. That is my experience from here.
Okay, good. Next is, how did COVID-19 affected your business and how you came back on track?
COVID-19, well, सभी कुछ बंद हो गया था, तो मतलब how it affected was that we used to deal with a lot of schools and institutions, तो schools ही बंद हो गए, academies बंद हो गई for that period, तो कोई consumption नहीं थी. We run a sports business basically, so everything is related to, अगर sport हो रहा है तो we will be in demand. Secondly, अगर economy अच्छा कर रही है तो sports लोग खेलेंगे, अगर economy down होती है तो सबसे पहली चीज पेरेंट्स बोलेंगे कि यार बैट नहीं खरीदना या बाद में खरीद लेंगे. So that's the first thing that gets cut down when the economy gets affected, because it's a recreation, it's not a necessity, right? So we were मतलब at one point मुझे याद है कि हम लोग we had 10 people on our payroll, और हम लोग I think 3 या 4 महीने हम लोग बस सैलरी दे रहे थे, कोशिश कर रहे थे कि मास्क बेच देंगे, सैनिटाइजर बेच देंगे, बट वो हुआ नहीं. मतलब हर एक बंदा ट्राई कर रहा था उस टाइम जो भी बिजनेस में था, क्योंकि अब you can't stop paying employees immediately, right? क्योंकि उनको भी तो they also have some responsibilities, commitments. So that was a tough period, and अभी भी we are struggling, we are getting back on track. I'm grateful to my mom जब मैं इधर move किया, so my mom took over, she's taking care of the office in India. So yeah, that's where we are at, and we're trying to देख रहे हैं और opportunities कैसे हैं. We've like वो tough phase cross कर लिया है, तो things are easier now. Yeah, we're hoping that we can turn a corner and make something big out of it.
One follow-up question: were there any learnings from the obstacles and difficulties that you faced in COVID-19? What were the takeaways? I mean, it's been almost 2.5 years, and you must have learned something. You must have seen that how can a pandemic, uncertain pandemic, can affect the business.
Yeah, I think everybody learned this, that with COVID एक अलग नजरिया मतलब एक अलग तरीके से देखना शुरू किया लोगों ने. जैसे Zoom भी है, like online teaching was not that prominent. Now so many people are doing online teaching. Yeah, meetings used to be in private. Yeah, मतलब आपको physical meeting करो, but people started to meet on Zoom. So I think the biggest takeaway was that you suddenly got a new perspective. That was the biggest thing, and that's the learning कि अगर कुछ भी चीज constant चल रही है you should still step aside और एक नए तरीके से देखो. Like COVID में you were forced to think out of the box, but you can choose to think out of the box also. So that was my learning. Ki just look from a different perspective. Maybe you find something else, maybe something better.
Yeah, kind of a blessing in disguise for the change of perspective. And as you said, it
Yeah.
really makes sense that COVID forced you to think from a different perspective, but you can also choose to think from a different perspective in normal scenarios, like as we are living in 2022. So that's really good. Fine. One question. It says that what message you have for a defense aspirant considering the low success rate in SSB?
Considering the low success rate.
Low success rate.
Okay. From my experience, I would say that you should have a backup plan for sure. क्योंकि अगर backup plan होता है, तो you are able to perform better at SSB and these exams also. अगर आपने पूरा जी जान एक ही में लगा दिया और ये नहीं तो कुछ भी नहीं, then you are taking a lot more pressure and you are not able to perform as well as you might be able to. And treat it as like when you're preparing for SSB, you're also preparing yourself to be a better person overall. So treat it that way instead of just treating it as कि यार यही destination है. Because मतलब for example, when you've enrolled with Nehru sir, of course you've enrolled because you want to join the army and clear the interview. But as a human being, as a personality, also you are growing and learning new facets which you can implement in the rest in the other phases of your life also. So SSB को भी ऐसे treat करो. Don't treat it as a destination. Treat it as a journey. Enjoy yourself in that process. And बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब if you put too much at stake, so that is you're causing trouble for yourself. So yeah, that's my advice. I think have a backup plan and treat it as a learning process instead of कि अच्छा this is the destination.
Since that's a very popular and important question, if you guys having any follow-up questions, you can please proceed.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you, Ugul. I think hi, Varun.
Yeah, good morning, sir. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. How are you?
I think it's midnight in Canada.
Yeah, it's like what time is it? Almost 11. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have one question. My family is in Canada. I know that it is difficult as a social life because they don't have so much social life and they miss India so much. So how do you manage that other than your corporate life and all your job?
I mean, I miss my parents, that's for sure. But uske alawa, I think everything is good. You have things to keep you occupied. There's so much to do here. I am following my passion. I like to play. The place that I'm working at, I have my business. So honestly, मेरे को एक बार भी नहीं thought आया कि it's boring here. Yeah, you are away from your country. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I cannot relate to it. I don't have a problem at all. I'm very happy.
Okay. And what was the main reason to move to Canada?
Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to move out of India was very simple, that you did not even have clean air to breathe. As simple as that. If I want to play sport, if I want to do something and I'm not able to even afford clean air, so that was a problem. And if I could afford to solve that, I chose to do it. That was like, मतलब बिल्कुल अगर आप basic पर चले जाओ, उसके अलावा तो it's I never lived outside of India, तो एक वो charm था कि देखना है कि बाहर कैसा होता है, and how is it outside. So when I got an opportunity, I took it. But I think the clear winner is कि if you're struggling for just basics, that was unacceptable for me. But if you can't afford it, that's a different thing. You have to live with it. Most of us do. But when I got a choice, I took it.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer.
Thank you, brother.
Well, I can ask a couple of more questions. First is,
Yeah.
since you haven't given any SSB, I will ask a typical SSB question. What are the two qualities that you like about your father? And this will also go in vice versa. What are the two qualities that Nehru sir like about Shikhar sir?
I will let him answer what qualities he likes about me first. And depending on how nicely he answers my question, I will compliment him. So let's have him answer first.
Well, first, I will not answer this question. I will make 2 points which are of some interest. One is that, Baba, you know, as a kid, you had a difficulty with maths. Of course, science became a problem because you spent your 3 years in CDTA when you were playing 5-6 hours of tennis, and you know, you couldn't get the basics of your science cleared, and it felt rather in 10th में आके उसको 11th में पकड़ना थोड़ा difficult था. So maths was also a problem. So just tell what went in your mind that, you know, you chose to stuck around with maths. You did not leave it. You had the option. And how did you cope with it?
Okay, so to be very candid about the fact, I think I stuck around with maths in class 11th क्योंकि मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड के पास मैथ्स था, तो अगर मैं क्लास चेंज करता तो मतलब वो अपॉर्चुनिटी मिस हो जाती, तो मैंने कहा कि यू नो एटलीस्ट ट्राई तो करते हैं. But that's in lighter vein. I think there is a slightly more serious aspect also that in general I like to like take on challenges, and मुझे लगा कि it was something that I could solve, and I found a good teacher in Gaurav sir वहाँ पे मेरठ में, तो मुझे लगा कि ये achievable है, मैं कर सकता हूँ, and फिर मजा भी आने लगा जब थोड़ा सा लगता है कि हाँ ये चीज हो रही है, then you start feeling that you know maybe you actually can. And I mean, abhi, I'm paid as an accountant, and day-to-day basis पर I'm dealing with numbers. So it's I think वो या थोड़ा सा initial वो push था जो basics में चाहिए था, and उसके बाद मुझे ऐसा नहीं लगा कि बहुत ज़्यादा struggle थी.
Fine. Thanks a lot. So, Yugal, you wanted me to first tell positive things about Shikhar and negative. दो बतानी है.
नहीं, बस positive.
Whichever way you want to answer.
नहीं, Yugal आएगा, तुम थोड़ी decide करोगे बाबा कि क्या बताना. ये positive, negative दोनों बताना है ना?
Yeah.
अच्छा. एक तो ये देखो, ये एक बार ना ये बचपन में छोटा था, इसको स्विमिंग सिखा रहे थे, ये स्विमिंग सीख गया था. And what happened? There was मुझे एज इसकी ध्यान नहीं है, वो छोटा ही था ये. He had just learned how to swim. तो इसके साथ एक कोई किसी ने टक्कर मार दी आके, and you know he ducked it. And उसके बाद he was panicking. So and I was little at a distance. I was coming close to him and he was totally panicking. मैं इसे कह रहा था, अरे यार तू अब बच गया है, you are surface, you know how to swim, to manage. You are still panicking. I was getting annoyed. Why is not able to understand this? So this was one thing which I felt, you know, कि यार क्या यार ये मेरा बेटा हो कैसा काम कर रहा है यार, पैनिक कर रहा है. So that was one thing. Broadly, he's been what I found compared to kids of his age. I always found him more mature and understanding. So we had a lot of a friendly bonding. Even when he was in school days, इसके matches हम discuss करते थे and all that, how to prepare for the next tournament and various things. Studies में भी हम मतलब साथ साथ रहते थे. I was his buddy in all that. I mean, like he was going for a tournament. हम 100cc मोटरसाइकिल में जाते थे tournaments खेलने के लिए. Just imagine सारा सामान kit wit pack करके. Okay, my father was paralytic, so Shalini needed the car कि कुछ emergency हो जाए. 200cc हमारी वो थी बजाज CT 100 था, हमारा पूरा जो था टूर्नामेंट का ट्रैवल हो जाता था. तो आते थे, फिर वो होता था मैच में क्वालिफाइंग हार जाता था, फिर लकी लूजर देखते थे. So we have been like you know friends. And initially, I used to find that, in tense moments and all that, he used to not perform. Pressure leke perform nahi karta tha. Then he crossed that stage, and he started enjoying the game, and he started handling pressure very well. मैंने कितना देखा है 15-40 से down होके confidently serving and holding his serve and all that with very consistent manner. So these are some of the things I've seen him maturing and grow, and not taking this unnecessary pressure, enjoying life, and he's been a focused, quite a mature kid. So I mean, I treat him as an equal rather than a kid, and I think you would also be feeling when you're talking to him that he doesn't sound like a kid of your age.
No, I'm not also. Not anymore.
More or less. So, क्रिटिसिज्म में तो क्या, क्रिटिसिज्म तो फिर बहुत आ जाते हैं। ये ज्यादा मतलब फैशन वैशन में, कपड़ों वपड़ों में इंटरेस्ट लेता है, ऑल दैट की इसमें पार्टी में ड्रेस करनी है, वो पहनने, और आप कभी सोचा ही नहीं यार कौन सा कपड़ा पहन के चले गए। So I find these things rather, I am unable to connect with all those things. Maybe Yugal can connect better with this stuff. So this is what I have to say about him. But he can say share his views.
I also don't pay any much attention to clothes and fashion and all those.
हाँ, तो ये अब बाबा के लिए these things are important, तो अब मेरे लिए तो क्या पहना था, क्या ठीक है पहन लिया।
अच्छा, I also have to tell two qualities.
You also tell two criticisms.
पब्लिक में ऐसे बोल देते हैं कि मेरे को कपड़े पसंद है। गलत बात है, ऐसा नहीं है। No, I think one criticism बोलो या मतलब घर में कंपटीशन इतना हाई था कि मतलब स्टैंडर्ड काफी हाई है ना, बट इट हेल्प्ड आल्सो, बट अभी भी मतलब आई कीप टेलिंग दिस जोक कि अगर जिम हम लोग जाते हैं तो आई प्रेफर नॉट गोइंग विद हिम, क्योंकि फिर लड़कियां फिर मतलब मेरी तरफ देखेंगी नहीं, दे लाइक पापा ही ज्यादा वेट उठा लेते हैं इस बेटे से, तो क्या फायदा। तो I prefer not going to the gym with him, but yeah, I think qualities are that he's a very, very simple human being, and transparent, straight to the point, और कोई बहुत वो नहीं, मतलब he likes to be frank, and वो एक वो हमने हैंडल भी है ना, the frank corner. So some people like it, some people absolutely do not like it, but I don't think it's anything that he should be bothered about, and he is not also, and that's held him in good stead. So yeah. That's one thing that all of us can maybe learn from him. So yeah, those are two qualities, I think.
Yoganam, shall we proceed with the session?
So I have a question from you that you will say. So what should be a relation of a child, like I'm age of 20? What should be a relation with my father? What should I expect? How I behave with him? What should my behavior with him? What should my relation with him?
Sorry, this is a question for Col Nehru, right?
Yes, sir. This is for sir.
You, Shikhar.
Acha, for me? Yeah, I'm
Yes,
not a
sir.
father. How can I tell?
You are the child. You are the son. What should be the relation with him?
अच्छा, मेरे हिसाब से in my mind it should be a relation of a friend, जो कि I have become very used to with, and I have seen, जैसे पापा ने बोला भी अभी कि he treats me as an equal. तो I don't think कि कोई भी ऐसा time रहा होगा जब मैंने disrespect किया है या उसकी कोई advantage ली है। तो and मतलब बचपन से भी मुझे याद है that like even when I was not very old, तब भी घर में अगर कोई financial decision हो रहे थे तो they would like include me. Maybe I was not giving very important suggestions or inputs, but I just felt that I was a part of the family and a contributing part of the family. So I think the relation should be, obviously respect has to be utmost, and as our generations fast वो थोड़ा सा वहाँ पे मुझे लगता है कि रिस्पेक्ट के एस्पेक्ट में थोड़ा हम लोग लैक कर जाते हैं कभी कभी, बट personally I have utmost respect for my father, and I think every child should also. So yeah, that's, I think, a friendly relationship with the respect that an elder, a person who's been responsible for your birth. Yeah, that should be the
And
relation.
Col Nehru sir, what do you expect from me as a child, as a son?
I expect him to live his life to the fullest, enjoy himself, and that's it. No strings attached.
And to his father, what do you expect? What a father expect from his child?
That's what I said. That he Shikhar should enjoy his life and live his life to the fullest and no strings attached. I have no expectations.
And his father is happy from that.
When you have these expectations, then you're creating problems for yourself and putting the other person also into problems.
Yes.
And this is something, you see, I will be, my answer may be a little different from most people because I work in this field of psychology and personality development. So I understand these things.
Yes.
ठीक है ना शिरू? हाँ, आप जब अटैचमेंट रखोगे ना, एक्सपेक्टेशंस रखोगे, आपको भी फ्रस्ट्रेशन रहेगी, दूसरे को भी फ्रस्ट्रेशन, उस पे भी प्रेशर क्रिएट होगा, अगर यार वो ये कर दिया तो वो उससे परेशानी हो जाएगी. तो होता था थिंग.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Question to Shikhar or me?
Sir, Shikhar, sir.
Hi, Abhishek.
Okay.
This
Good
is
morning, sir.
Abhishek?
How are you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good, thank you. Good.
Okay.
Thank you for
Sir,
coming and listening. Batao.
yes, sir. Sir, I was asking that there is always a never give up attitude in one person, right? So how do you tackle with कि now यार मैं बैडमिंटन में सही नहीं खेल रहा, ये वाला टाइम नहीं है कि मैं मतलब नेवर गिव अप एटीट्यूड दिखाऊं, और अच्छा पार्ट ये है कि थोड़ा सा साइड बाय होके कुछ नया चीज करूं. ये आपको कैसे पता लगेगा? क्योंकि नेवर गिव अप एटीट्यूड हमेशा रहता ही है कि यार करता रहूं, पर कब पता लगेगा कि यार ये तो फैटल है, थोड़ा सा छोड़ना भी चाहिए कि कुछ चीजें देखूं. कैसे पता लगे?
पर्सनली मतलब जिस टाइप का मेरा माइंडसेट है और जैसे मैं सोचता हूँ, समहाउ मैं रिस्क और बेनिफिट एनालिसिस करना बहुत पसंद करता हूँ. सो जब मुझे लगता है कि यार अब एफर्ट बेनिफिट से ज्यादा हो रहा है, तो फिर तब मैं डिसाइड करता हूँ कि यार नहीं, इट्स नॉट वर्थ इट. थोड़ा बहुत ऑफ कोर्स यू हैव टू लिसन टू योर इंस्टिंक्ट, गट फीलिंग, वो सब होता है, बट I do this. I weigh pros and cons, and literally मैं लिखता भी हूँ कि अच्छा ये pros हैं, ये cons हैं. Usually that helps. So maybe you can also try doing that.
अच्छा सर, from for us person specifically, for SSB point of view, if we are finding this, yes, we are maturing in real life, we are doing good in real life, so it is right to not to give up for SSB also, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yes, so sir, what would you take in that कि यार लाइफ में आपको चीजें ऐसे छोड़नी चाहिए या नहीं छोड़नी चाहिए? अगर
नहीं,
आपको
मतलब इसमें कोई शर्म की बात नहीं है कि अगर कोई चीज नहीं हो रही तो लगे रहो. मतलब जैसे मैंने बोला कि जब तक उसका बेनिफिट ट्राई करने का ओवरवे कर रहा है तब तक ट्राई करो. जब अगर नहीं हो रही, देन फाइंड अ हाइब्रिड सोल्यूशन. जैसे एसएसबी का है कि अगर एसएसबी नहीं हो रही क्लियर, तो फाइंड अ जॉब, लाइक फाइंड अनदर पाथ एंड देन ट्राई एंड डू बोथ थिंग्स पैरेलली. अगर फिर भी नहीं हो पा रहा है, then just switch.
Okay, sir, right. I got your point. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Yeah, Anjali, please go ahead.
Hey, good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. So I have a question for Shikhar, sir. So, sir, first of all, I would like to appreciate, I really like the response you gave for the SSP aspirants, as I feel the same way. So
Thank you.
now my question is, So like as you started so early in the business, so what is the better approach to go ahead with your business plan? Like, is it better to take some good corporate job and get some learning from there, if considering the fact that you don't have much business related knowledge, just some good ideas and plans that you feel they have some good potential in future, you feel that you have that ideas, or maybe to start with your ideas and learning will itself follow in the due process?
See, one thing, this is very specific to starting up, that have you will never have learned enough, you will never have enough resources, so you will have to make that leap of faith. So if you feel the timing is right, then you should go ahead with it, and as it progresses, as things come your way, you will learn, try to solve them. अगर आप सोचोगे कि नहीं मेरे को कुछ I have a good idea, but पहले let me acquire some experience, let me get some corporate job, let me save some money, तो वो that is keeping you away from it, and your motivation, your drive might actually diminish, and you will give yourself a lesser chance to succeed. So I think if you will never be ready, 100% आप कभी भी नहीं होगे. It's like preparing for an exam. Till the last moment also you feel like अच्छा ये एक चीज पढ़ लेता तो शायद better हो जाता. But you have to take that plunge.
Okay, thank you, sir. And one more thing I want to ask, like how you started at so early, like it's just a derive idea, or maybe you read some books around it, did something research related, or maybe if you read some book, how does it help? And if you would want to suggest me some good books related to entrepreneurship, starting a business, so something you can share.
I did read some books. एक Gus Bartimolo की book थी, and then there is the Lean Startup, these books. But personally, बहुत ज़्यादा उससे मेरे को नहीं impact हुआ. Lean Startup, maybe you can, if you are keen on entrepreneurship, you can read it. It just basically talks about how you should start lean. Like you should, again, just I'm oversimplifying it maybe, but it is literally कि you should take minimum risk or take calculative risks, and do not put your everything on the line. Be conservative and take risks. So it's finding that good mix, and making sure that जो चीज आप कर रहे हो, that's you get good feedback about it. मतलब don't blind yourself. अगर किसी चीज की requirement है, demand है, talk to people. Don't shy away from taking feedback from people, going out in the market, testing the product before you actually launch a product or invest money in building that product. So that's what that book sort of said in hundreds of pages. But yeah, I mean, you have to do it at the end of the day.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And one last question, may I?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so yeah. So as I've read certain books related to entrepreneurship. Even I'm currently reading the one. So I have seen that whoever goes into this stream, it is like a full-time investment, full-time efforts investment. So do you ever feel that your personal life get impacted because of that, or were you able to manage both the things together?
Honestly, if you enjoy something, then you wouldn't think of it that way, right?
Okay.
But if it feels as if you are giving it too much, and you start to feel that your personal life is getting affected, that means that something is off. So either you're not as passionate about it, or you're putting in way more than you can digest yourself. तो मतलब अगर आप सो ही नहीं रहे हो, पूरे टाइम ही वो एक ही चीज करे जा रहे हो, so it's not sustainable, right? So you have to find a good balance which is sustainable while you try and solve something. It's obviously when you start a business, 1 in 10,000 is successful. So obviously you have to put in efforts out of your skin. You cannot just treat it as a regular job, those like regular run-of-the-mill lifestyle. So you have to get out of your comfort zone. But if it starts to feel कि यार नहीं ये तो मजा नहीं आ रहा है या मेरी personal life ही affect हो रही है, then something is off. But as a caveat, I will also add that, of course, entrepreneurship, from the outside feels that it's very glamorous. It's so much fun. You're, doing something path-breaking, cutting edge, ye wo. But there are always dull moments. There are always things that you will not enjoy doing, but you still have to do them to be able to get to a certain point. So, yeah, just make sure that you read those signs properly and don't misread anything into believing that maybe it's not for me. Yeah, I'm putting in too much effort.
Okay,
Sustainable
thank you so
effort.
much. Yeah,
Thanks.
that was nice learning. Thank you.
Thank you. Hanji, any more questions? Yugal, you did a very good job. I don't know जो आपने description बताया था. I won't even tell people कितना सच था कितना झूठ, but it sure sounded very nice. So thank you for that.
People have asked the questions. People have asked enough questions. I will give this floor to now Nehru sir. Final words.
I really don't have very many words. Thanks a lot, Baba, for sparing your time and keeping awake. Though I know you generally keep awake around this time, so it's not a big deal.
This was a fun session. I hope I had fun. I hope everyone who was listening also was able to take something out of it.
Yes, I hope
it's not
benefit because they keep listening to me more, and at my age, I don't connect that well with their age group. So you are nearer to them in age, so maybe they can take away some points. And if to not only thank Yugal for doing a good job by coming in between two family members and
convening
and asking also very relevant questions in a very, very diplomatic and nice manner, and getting us to speak about also each other. That's good. So thanks a lot, Baba. Shall take care, and thanks a lot, Yugal.
Thank you
for the job you've done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Take care, all of you. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.